Jean-Claude Van Damme has finally broken decades of silence surrounding one of the most talked-about feuds in action movie history, and what he revealed turned out to be far more unsettling than fans ever expected. Now in his mid-60s, Van Damme chose to speak out about his long, tense rivalry with Steven Seagal, a conflict that simmered quietly for years while both men dominated the golden age of martial arts cinema. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, they stood as the undisputed kings of the video store era, two action legends whose movies filled shelves and shaped an entire generation of fans, yet who somehow never shared the screen, never appeared together, and never acknowledged one another publicly. Van Damme rose to fame through explosive, athletic performances in films like Bloodsport, which became a martial arts classic, Kickboxer, which showcased both emotional depth and brutal fight scenes, and later hits like Universal Soldier and Time Cop, proving he could blend martial arts with mainstream Hollywood storytelling. Seagal, on the other hand, carved out a very different image, presenting himself as calm, controlled, and deadly, built around Aikido and films like Above the Law, Hard to Kill, and the massive hit Under Siege, which pushed him into mainstream stardom. While both men defined action cinema in their own ways, an invisible wall existed between them, and behind the scenes, tension was already growing. According to insiders, that tension didn't start with Van Damme but with Seagal, who frequently made thinly veiled comments in interviews mocking other martial artists, joking about actors who thought ballet could make them fighters. Those remarks were widely understood within the industry as digs at Van Damme, who openly credited ballet for his balance, flexibility, and strength. Though Seagal never said Van Damme's name, the message was clear, and over time, the dismissive tone became a pattern, leading stunt coordinators, producers, and choreographers to quietly warn that the two stars should never be put in the same room. Van Damme, however, chose silence, letting his work speak for him while Hollywood whispered about what many began calling a silent war. That quiet hostility finally erupted at a legendary party hosted by Sylvester Stallone, a rare gathering where action icons like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Van Damme, and Seagal all found themselves under one roof. What was meant to be a relaxed evening turned tense when Seagal allegedly began mocking Van Damme's background again, this time within earshot. After years of restraint, Van Damme had enough and directly challenged Seagal to take it outside and settle things man to man, a moment later confirmed by Stallone himself. Shockingly, Seagal refused, laughing it off and acting as if it were beneath him, and when Van Damme repeated the challenge later that night at a nightclub, Seagal again declined. The story spread quickly through Hollywood circles, cementing the idea that Seagal had backed away from a confrontation he had fueled for years. In the early 2000s, the rivalry reached another dramatic chapter when producer Peter Guber reportedly offered both men $20 million each for a real, sanctioned fight in Las Vegas, an event that could have become one of the biggest celebrity combat spectacles ever. Van Damme says he accepted immediately, seeing it as a matter of respect and truth, while Seagal never responded at all, effectively killing the deal. For years, the public knew nothing about this offer, and the story remained buried until Van Damme finally spoke about it in 2023, calmly stating the facts without boasting or trash talk. That same year, fans were stunned again when Van Damme posted an Instagram photo of himself dining with Seagal, teasing a big announcement, sparking endless speculation about reconciliation, a movie, or even a long-awaited fight. But no announcement ever came, and the mystery only deepened. Finally, in a quiet European interview, Van Damme revealed the truth, calling Seagal a fraud and accusing him of fabricating stories about secret missions and real-world combat experience, pointing out that Seagal had never fought in a legitimate tournament while he himself had trained and competed for real. According to Van Damme, the dinner wasn't about friendship or peace but observation, and what he saw convinced him nothing had changed. The teased announcement meant nothing in the end, serving only to stir curiosity before fading away. With that, the decades-long feud ended not with a fight, a film, or a partnership, but with closure, as Van Damme chose to finally tell his side of the story and let the truth stand on its own.